Madam Web is probably not going to be very good. But no, there's a part of me that wants it to be, if only because I'm going to go watch it for 2 hours and want to be able to get something out of the experience. But there's a saying, no one sets out to make a movie that's bad, but movies are often on a short timeline and have a lot of things they're trying to satisfy from a lot of interests. And sometimes they end up not really managing to be a coherent thing that is also satisfying. And that seems likely to be what's happened with this. It's interesting to me, say from a writing perspective and as a fan of Spider-Man and comic books, because with stuff like this, or more recent stuff like Black Adam, we're seeing they're plumbing a depth of comic book material that we haven't really quite gotten in a satisfying way before, which is exploring some of the kind of B-level stories where maybe the characters aren't necessarily B-level, but the stories themselves are kind of mid-range, like Legends of the Dark Knight or Batman and the Outsiders. It has all the potential to be compelling and interesting, but because it's not going to affect the main storyline that much, editorship doesn't really care if it's bad, as long as it's not financially unfruitful. So its capacity to be good is really up to the creative team, but on the other hand, they may not be getting support from editorial to make it good. When a comic book is producing like 500 titles, not all of them are going to be great. And similarly, we're seeing this with stuff like Madam Web. Madam Web only exists because they're trying to capitalize off of the Spider-Man property, but the Spider-Man property is one of the most valuable properties in the entire world. So it makes financial sense to at least try it out. And of course, the thing about movies is even if you figure out it's not ultimately not a very good product, it's a public thing, so you still got to see it through and let it get released and let it go out into the world. You can't just hide it under your bed like a drawing you didn't like. But we'll see. Sometimes I've liked movies that the general consensus did not like. For all I know, I'll like this. Maybe it'll have the right mix of little elements like Sydney Sweeney being good looking that'll make me have a fondness for it anyway. But there's also a good chance it won't.